In this video, we're going to get into the details of our funding distribution formula. Because we'll be talking about numbers, it's in your best interest to put aside any and all distractions and give this your full attention for the few minutes that it will take to watch this explanation. As you've already seen, crowdfunding is a well-documented, proven successful procedure for raising both large and small amounts of money to fund your dream projects. People can raise the needed funds for whatever their hearts desire: business, church, charity, missions, artistic endeavors, education, pet projects, and more. This is not a loan. There is no repay. You incur no debt. Also, this is not venture capital. Nobody's going to take a piece of your project in exchange for funding it. And while crowdfunding has been proven all over the world with more than 500 platforms in over 16 countries, there are a few drawbacks. Drawbacks that we have completely eliminated with our brilliant and proprietary model. First, there are no company fees. Normally, there's a fee of anywhere from 3 to 5% of the funds you receive. Not here. 100% of the money raised goes to the projects. Next, we accept any and every worthwhile project. There is no red tape or complicated forms to fill out. And perhaps most importantly, with other crowdfunding platforms, you alone are responsible for raising all the money yourself. It relies on you and your marketing expertise. Most projects don't do very well because of that. In this short video, you're going to learn how our model is vastly superior to anything that's previously existed. First, it's important to understand our viewpoint and the words we use to describe it. We are an intentional, leveraged sharing community. We base our community on three very simple but profound truths. Plant before you harvest. It's a fundamental law of nature. You must first plant seeds before you can expect to harvest a crop. This is blindingly obvious, but it's surprising how many people seem to feel entitled to receive something when they have not done the work of planting in their fields first. Next, pay it forward. Rather than the idea of pay it back to the one who did you a favor, pay it forward passes the kindness you received from someone on to others. And then lead by your own good example. I don't think this one needs any explanation. You first do what you want others to do. That's it. And make no mistake, this goes far beyond mere philosophy or hackneyed cliches. We built a world-class crowdfunding platform that is rooted in these simple, undeniable truths. Here's how it works. There are two terms you need to know: direct funding and shared funding. Direct funding is where people contribute directly to your project. They do this for two reasons. First, they want to help you with your project. And second, they want to become part of our community in order to raise money for their personal projects. When someone directly contributes $200 to your project, 100% of it goes to your project, period. If we were like other crowdfunding platforms, you'd have a fee come out of it and then be off marketing to find your next donor. That traditional linear model has obviously been effective, as evidenced by the billions of dollars that have already been raised worldwide through ordinary crowdfunding. And that brings us to one unmistakable, clear-cut advantage we have over other platforms, which is leverage. Remember, we are an intentional, leveraged sharing community. You can intentionally choose to share some of your funding with our community of project managers. We share some of our funding in order to become qualified to receive funding from the community rather than trying to do it all by ourselves. Here's how the leveraged sharing portion works. We break down the shared funding portion into manageable financial steps. There are 3 steps which make up each funding floor. In our platform, there are a total of 7 floors, which translates to 21 steps. Each floor is assigned a specified financial amount or target. It's your funding goal. Once you achieve each financial goal, your project becomes qualified to receive funding from other project managers who have stepped up to do what you have done. In this diagram, you'll see the funding goal for each of the 7 floors. You'll also see that the totals on each floor are made up of 3 smaller financial steps, except for the first floor, which has 3 steps and a starting place called the accelerator. You'll notice, for example, that the 3 steps on the second floor are $20, $100, and $200, which totals $320. To make the arithmetic easy, the amounts simply double from the previous floor. The floors are $200 and then $320, $640, $1280, and so on up to the 7th floor. A truly eye-opening point is that this is a self-funding program. Project managers don't ever need to take any money out of their own pockets to receive funding from this aspect of our program. Program managers can choose to share a portion of the funds they've received with the community to fund each floor. Again, this happens without them ever taking any additional money out of their pockets. For example, when you receive donations from 3 people for $200 each, you have received $600. You can choose to share some of it in order to step up through our system. Sharing $320 from the $600 you've received allows you to achieve the funding target of $320 and completing the 2nd floor. You are now qualified to receive funding from others who have completed their 2nd floor in your community. That $320 is shared according to this distribution formula. It is shared between 3 other project managers who immediately preceded you in our community structure. Half, or $160, goes to one project, and the other half, $160, is split equally between 2 other projects that receive $80 each. The funding distribution formula remains constant throughout all the floors, 50, 25, and 25. As you can start to see, as the financial targets of each floor are reached, the amount of money being dispersed to the project managers can become quite large and very quickly. At the 3rd floor, the $640 is shared among 3 qualifying project managers according to the same formula of 50%, 25%, and 25%. 50% of $640 is $320. 25% is $160, which goes to 2 project managers who qualify. At the 4th floor, the funding goal of $1280 is once again shared according to the 50-25-25 formula. 50% of $1280 is $640. 25% is $320. Let's say you want to raise $50,000 for your project. Well, that's certainly not a lot of money in this day and age. If you were going to attempt to do it by yourself with $50 donations, which is the minimum amount our platform is based on, you'd need 1,000 people to donate $50 each to reach your funding goal of $50,000. Well, what do you estimate your chances are of personally getting 1,000 people to contribute $50 each to you? You'd probably have to market to tens or possibly hundreds of thousands of people to achieve those results. With our leveraged platform, it's much more doable. Isn't it much easier to have a handful of people who know you personally, let's say 4 or 5, who've got a business or a charity or a personal project, who would make a donation to your project with the knowledge that they can do the same and raise the monies they need? Remember the 3rd concept we talked about at the beginning? Leading by your own good example. Each person who joins our community can show a few of their personal contacts how to raise the money needed for their project. Each of them shows a few, and so on and so on. And with our platform, you can achieve your funding goals 4 times faster with donations of $200 instead of $50. If you want others to donate $200 to your project, it's probably good to start with a $200 donation yourself. Make sense? Of course. Other crowdfunding platforms rely solely on addition. You receive donations from a few people, and then you add a few more, and so on. In arithmetic, we know that 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 16. But there's a jaw-dropping phenomenon we've all seen. In pop culture, you know about videos that go viral and get millions of views. One person likes it and shares it with a few friends. They each share it with a few friends, and that happens over and over. Here, we are doing exactly the same thing, but instead of sharing the latest song or funny video, we share the world's most effective method for funding your dream project. Things that go viral are based on multiplication instead of addition. So 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256 compared to just 16 using addition. Suppose we took that example out 7 times instead of just 4 times. Well, we'd have 1,024 4,096, 16,384. And when this law of multiplication kicks in, you've got the robust force of leverage working for you. That's what can happen as one steps up through the 7 floors and begins receiving shares of 50% and 25% through the intentional donations made by those project managers who need larger amounts for their projects. Those 50% and 25% shared donations can come from hundreds, and yes, even thousands of people from all over the world. That is how project managers who require hundreds of thousands or more for their projects can receive all the funding they need. Ask yourself this: how many people are out there who are looking to raise money for important projects in their lives right now? And when you look at it from all angles, your total exposure is a maximum of the original $200 that you donated to a friend's dream project. As soon as just a single one of your contacts makes a donation to your project, you are whole. Everything from there on out goes towards achieving your financial goals. So there you have it. A brilliant, effective, and proven method of funding any project, big or small, that works on a worldwide platform and can help anyone living anywhere. It's completely affordable to anyone, and it's the embodiment of life's most esteemed philosophical principles. It's the golden rule in action, doing for others as you would have them do for you. You help others achieve the funding they need and want for the things that are important to them. And in the process, the goals for your dream projects can become fulfilled. Don't you think it's about time? Let's team up and do this together now. Contact us now and get started today.